Okay, today we're working on new art for a gallery show that celebrates the World Cup coming to Atlanta. A lot of people tell me that this design reminds them of a soccer ball, but I wanted to do something completely different because they redesigned the ball each tournament. And last time, the design was a huge controversy because the players said that the geometric pattern wasn't acting predictably with aerodynamics. And this year, the design is even crazier. So I'm sure it'll be right back at the center of discussion. And we're gonna play with a product that was designed specifically for Disney's outdoor sculptures. But first, we need to find one of these balls. Check this out, before you even get through the front door, they have a massive sculpture of the Trionda ball. This is already giving me an idea. I love that you can see all the crazy little details like this embossed texture. But I would recommend going with a game plan because if you love to shop, it's really easy to get distracted. See what I did there? A game plan, and check out how many options they have. They even have like an entire set of the old World Cup balls. But this is the one that we're looking for. Now I just need to figure out how to get it out of this case. Well, that was embarrassing. Turns out they're all under this giant ball. And you might not know where I'm going with this yet, but I have an idea, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I started by transferring the design to wood to cut them out. And these are gonna be used as the templates when we carve the foam. I also got to pick up a new tool for this piece because I needed to be able to smooth out the edges of the round cuts. So in woodworker math, this project is already paying for itself. I also have this piece that a collector shipped to me because it got damaged. So I'm gonna fix this up and then bring it with me to the gallery opening and hopefully surprise them with it that night. That's the plan at least, so we'll see. Once I had all the wood pieces cut out, I was able to use those as a template to cut the foam pieces out with a hot wire. I cut out 2 of each shape so that I could stack them together for some depth, and then I used chipboard to make even more guides so that I could put a bevel around the top of each shape. Then I used liquid foam to glue all the pieces together, and the window version isn't supposed to expand as much, but I'd still clamp it. While those were drying up, I thought it would look really clean if I made a floater frame that held everything together, and that little thought wound up being more complicated than the original piece, but it gave me an excuse to use that new spindle sander again, so I started by cutting the shape of the back panel, and then I marked out where I needed to make a ton of relief cuts in the frame so that I could bend it around the panel. It's really easy to break when you're trying to bend it, so I crossed my fingers and glued everything up, and thankfully, it all worked out. While the frame is drying up, I need to start fixing this diamond canvas. Because the dent has scratched off the texture of the canvas, I pretty much have to remake the whole thing, but I love all my collectors, so I want to make sure that I do this right. I took the whole thing apart and then I filled in the dent, sanded it smooth, re-stretched it with new canvas, and applied 3 coats of gesso. A lot of resins get way too hot when they're curing or have chemicals in them that will just eat right through EPS foam, so I'm using a product by Smooth On called Epsilon Pro. It's a 2-part liquid that's formulated specifically for EPS, and it's gonna cure into a hard plastic that leaves us with a really nice durable shell. And while there are certain resins out there that work with EPS, my favorite part about Epsilon is that it doesn't sag on vertical surfaces. I let the first layer cure overnight and then lightly sanded the peaks off before doing a second coat, and now it's really starting to look like a sheet of glass. It's crazy how this went from being a piece of styrofoam to having a car paint finish. And for your bonus fun fact of the day, rumor has it this was designed for Disney to finish their one-off sculptures where they didn't want to have to make a mold. I've also been doing some body work on this frame over here, which is looking really clean. These are hard as a rock, so now we can stretch canvas around. But while I'm working on this, let's finish up that diamond. I spent a long time color matching the paints because I want it to be as close as possible to how they remember it. But there is a lot of optical mixing that happens when you airbrush, so getting a perfect match is insanely tricky. I cut a piece of polycarbonate for the back so it'll slide over the cleat much easier. I also signed it and then painted it with the same colors, but when I flip it over, it'll show a reverse history of all the colors I used. And they'll only see this when they peel off the protective layer. After I put everything back together is the hardest part, waiting to see what they think. This is how it turned out. Let me know in the comments if you think I got the color match spot on or did I completely miss the mark. And one of the coolest things about this canvas is that once I unstretched it, it still stayed embossed. Basically took on the form of the wood. So I'm gonna do another video exploring all about this technique because I think there's some really cool applications that could be done with this. If this interests you, maybe I'll see you in that video. Once the canvases were stretched, everything was ready to be primed, and coating the canvas was pretty straightforward. If you're interested in more tips on that, I go into it in some of my other videos, but priming the frame was a different story, because I was essentially painting on plastic, so I definitely had a bit of a learning curve. I was hoping I could get away with this roller because I had it laying around, but even though it's for smooth surfaces, it was still giving me this weird texture, and I want it to be perfectly smooth. So I went back to the store and I picked up this new roller I'd never seen before. It's flocked, and it says it creates a spray-like finish. As someone that sprays a lot of paint, I have my doubts, but I still figured I'd give it a chance to see if it lives up to the marketing, so that you don't have to. Spoiler alert, I wasted my money. Still getting caked with paint, still leaving a ton of texture, so I'm gonna sand this down and do a third coat with my trusty foam roller and see what kind of finish we can get with that. This is what it looks like after just using a regular foam roller, and you can already tell a huge difference. I put it together to figure out all the hardware, and I kind of regret it because seeing it together for the first time, all flat white, it looks so clean. I almost don't want to paint it. But I'm gonna paint it anyways, because you guys kind of like color, and I kind of like you. My original plan for painting the frame was to use spray paint for more of a street art vibe, but by the time I got the gradients just right, I had built up way too much texture. So I wound up sanding the whole thing down again, which ironically gave me that flawless spray finish I was going for, so it wasn't a complete waste. But I went back to the airbrush because I just felt like I had way more control over the colors and the spray pattern. Okay, so we've got this thing all painted and it looks so cool so far. I can't wait to put this together and see what it looks like all finished up. All right, we got some Starbucks, full tank of gas. On our way to Atlanta for the opening. Are you excited?
I am. Just take a road trip.
Now, if you haven't been to ABV Gallery in Atlanta, it's an 8,500 square foot church that was completely reimagined from the ground up, and you can tell how much thought went into every aspect as soon as you walk through the doors. You're immediately greeted with open space and natural light. They have a gift shop on the left with all kinds of limited edition merch, and even a bar on the opposite side, so you can stay hydrated. But this caught my eye, and I had to see what was up there. So I met up with the gallery director, Nate, who gave us a VIP tour. We got to see some really cool stuff. The agency, the studio, and this chair that deadmau5 gifted them after a collaboration. So it was a pretty fun night. This show had over 30 artists, so it was really fun to just walk around and see everyone's interpretation of the soccer theme. And as always, let me know what you want to see more or less of in the comments, because that's the best way for me to get you the content that you want to see. Oh, and if you made it this far, the World Cup Goose says you have to subscribe. I don't make the rules, I just do what the goose says.